The people over here at the table to my left were very supportive of what we try to do with the gasoline tax, and again I want to thank y'all very much. And yes sir.
Earlier you had some pretty flattering commentary for those that were in support of the tax. I know you had a little heated presentation on the floor where you expressed some frustration for those in opposition to the tax, specifically having said that they had lied, and also that we could not, and I quote, become the state of Americans for prosperity.
This nonsense has hurt the people of the Baton Rouge area and has hurt the state. As you can tell, I'm frustrated. My frustration has also been seeing my party influenced by out of touch, out of state, bankroll group, the Americans for Prosperity, who care less for the everyday problems of Louisiana citizens than they do for spreading ideological based lies about a solution that can help the people of Louisiana. Well, now this group can at least claim they scared Louisiana away from doing the right thing. So here's my message back to the Republicans at the party across the state. We cannot become the party of the so-called Americans for Prosperity.
Can you give us some examples of distortions that you believe were made, and are you in opposition to grassroots organizations that go door to door to voice their sentiments on the political process?
No, not at all. But let me just say this. I'm a Republican. As I said, I've been a Republican since I was eligible to vote. That's a long time ago. In fact, it's so long ago, you could put all of us in a phone booth and still have room for 2 or 3 more people. That's where I was back as a Republican. But what disappoints me about the Republican Party, and not just probably the Republican, but also the Democratic Party, we should be to try to do the right thing. This is the right thing to do. Granted, taxes, I don't like taxes, you don't like taxes. Anybody here like taxes? Raise your hand. Nobody likes taxes. But how are we going to solve this problem? And this is a major problem in our area. How can Adam Knapp and how can Mike go out and try to get people to come into this city? And we've got horrible transportation problems, and I hate to step on people's toes, but I don't think our school systems are quite as good as they should be. So my point in saying it is, I applaud people for getting involved in the process. I'm just saying that if it's the right thing to do, regardless of whether you're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent, do the right thing. I tell people in the legislature, they come in, they're all worried about getting reelected. I said, let me ask you this, the person who you took the place of, tell me 3 people back who was in your position. Some can, some can't. If they can, I say, okay, tell me one good piece of legislation that they introduced. Can't do that, but I said, well, if you can, that's good. Tell me on right to work, how did they vote? So you know what I tell them the motto is? Just do the right thing, because nobody's remembering who the heck you are anyway. So that's what I'm saying, it takes courage. So I hope I've answered your question, but I'm all for grassroots people going door to door, having no problem with that. But when they go door to door and they say it's only because of a tax, and they're mad about a tax, I'm a Republican, I don't like taxes, but in this particular case, I like the tax.
Well, could I have a brief follow-up then? Many of those grassroots activists said there is a ton of pork barrel projects in the budget, to include an itemized list of $40 million, many of which were in John Alario's district, that are of questionable value. And many of those who were involved in that grassroots campaign believe the funds exist within the budget to meet our transportation needs without having to resort to tax increase. Do you have an effective argument against that, or?
No. I'm not on a money committee, but that doesn't exclude me from answering the question.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I've been there for 10 years, and we have trimmed the budget, and attempted to continue to trim the budget. I challenge you, now granted, you're talking about a guy who's got far more experience than I do, and he may know how to maneuver the system around and get the things that he needs to get in his area. But I challenge you to find anything that's in that budget that is pork barrel, come to me and we'll eliminate it. I don't know where they are. I mean, John Schroeder and I are very good friends. He's fought it all the time. All the people on appropriations have fought it a good bit. And I just don't see, I mean, like the time, Sherry, we had the Office of Motor Vehicles, they were going to shut them down or whatever. Remember, we had a crisis with, we didn't have enough money. Well, okay, so let me ask you this. You want to go 30 miles to get your driver's license renewed? Is that important? Should we leave it open? Is that wasted money, having too many Office of Motor Vehicles too close to each other? I mean, I'm just saying, common sense comes into play sometimes. And so I'm just saying, again, you gotta do the right thing. And I know my position on this is the right thing. I mean, I get reelected, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stand up for what I think is right.
I appreciate you taking the question.
Yes, sir.